So this is an example CV that I used in 2009. The date of this is the 9th of November 2009. And actually, this CV was part of a portfolio of what I would send through to businesses that were hiring or to agencies. Often they'd ask me, or the agencies would ask me to send through a shorter CV, just a CV part, which would be fine. But if they didn't, then I let them send this whole thing on. Otherwise, I forwarded just the CV part. I just wanted to go through the CV to explain how it's structured. So obviously my name's at the top. I don't say CV or curriculum vitae or resume at the top because that's what it is. There's no point in wasting time and attention. I've got my email address. Obviously that's not my actual email address. I've got a phone number. That's not my actual phone number. Then I have a little profile part, and this is for the sort of hiring manager who might want to read it. And I've written it in a sort of style that suits them, that they like an ITIL certified senior Oracle production DBA with over 10 years experience supporting mission critical systems, blah, 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 blah. All that stuff there is something that I envisage a recruitment agent speaking to a hiring manager over the phone, explaining this stuff. Oh, he's worked for pharmaceuticals, telecoms, finance, manufacturing, retail industries, scalable, blah, blah, blah. Right. So this is kind of like buzzwords for them. But then I've put a little bit here about what I'm about in a nutshell. So I ensure visibility, traceability, repeatability of everything and endeavor to reduce risk and increase ROI, blah, blah, blah. Improving process documentation, repeatability, automation optimization. Sorry, I went blah, 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 but that's important stuff. And the average techie wouldn't put that in. But the average hiring manager, that is just like a breath of fresh air. So I'm not just talking about IT techie stuff. So have a think about who is reading your CV, who you want it to read it, and who's actually going to be hiring. So the hiring manager and the recruitment agent, they're going to read this stuff. Oh yeah, this is good, if they do. A techie's not going to bother. They're going to look at that and go, boo, look at that junk. I'm going to read that. And they're going to go straight to the technical skills. And I've listed them all and put a number of years that I did them as of that date so that people don't have to try and work it out. It's like, well, how long did you spend as an Oracle DBA? Which versions of Oracle did you use? Well, I used 7 through to 10G. I was there for doing that for 10 plus years, 16 plus years as I was a production support. Now, I could have just put I was an Oracle DBA in Unix and blah, 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 but actually I spent all the time in production support and I'm ITIL certified. So that's telling the hiring manager or team leader that I'm a safe pair of hands. And then I just fill in with like all the kind of buzzwords and keywords that I expect a recruitment agent and a hiring manager and a team leader to be looking for. That, process improvement. Right. Wow. They might have even specified that in, the job description, but they like the stuff like that, and change management, release management, monitoring and alerting. So it doesn't matter what your job is. There's going to be things that people expect you've done. And then there's things that if you said you'd done it, they're going to be, pretty pleased to hear about it, and it will help you stand out. And I've just made it a big list. And I imagine this CV getting uploaded into a database and then someone being able to search on all those buzzwords. Now, it doesn't matter whether you understand all this stuff. You likely don't if you're watching this video. But, I've filled it with things like OEM, Tivoli monitoring, BMC Patrol, HP Overview, DBR. And these are tools I've used. So some sites I might insist that you've used RMAN. Others like Oracle Data Guard. So they can scan through and go, oh, look, he's used those things that we need. In particular, this is great. So I've listed all those and I've made it easy for them to see. And obviously in my case, I've got had a lot of years experience. So I wanted to highlight that. Then I've put an employment summary. How many people put an employment summary into their CV? In this case, I'm saying I was a senior DBA at this location. And the duration is more important than when I started and when I finished. Often people put down when they started and where they finished somewhere, like here, and then leave somebody to try and write in the margins. Well, how long was that? How long were they there for? Oh, that's about a year. I've made it easy for them. I don't want them to think. I want them to go, well, he's 11 months there, 34 months there, 3 weeks. Oh, why is he only 3 weeks there? Okay, he's a little something slightly different from what he normally did. You can see that I'm consistently in places for a good period of months. That I've been they can see progression as well. IT support, instructor, analyst programmer, Unix sysadmin, DBA, senior DB, senior lead, team leader, senior again. also I've put it the most important stuff, the most recent, top. They'll figure out that, oh, look, it's in reverse chronological order, fine, but put your most important stuff top. Why would you put it at the bottom? And then very quickly, I put down I got a degree, so what? At this stage, it doesn't really matter, but for some hiring managers or HR departments, they insist, I must have a degree for whatever. Then I've got the employment history. I've just made it nice and easy to read. You can see like a little bit of a summary here. Senior DBA, contract. It was a contract. So I'm used to being a contractor because obviously I was going for contracts, and then you can see the permanent. Okay, but I'm allowing people to scan down and see, well, he worked for Dunnes Stores, then he worked for CRH. Oh, no, sorry. Prior to that, he worked for CRH, then it was EPI, then it was Wyeth. How long was he there for? What did he do? Contracted to review and improve disaster recovery. Right, so I've got one sentence there to explain what I was brought in to do. And then I've got maybe 3 bullet points. I try to have 3. And I start each with an action word. So provided DBA support, reviewed and improved disaster recovery, planned and implemented. So if you were to scan down each of these bullet points, I look super proactive and do a lot of stuff. Provided, reviewed, planned, protected, successfully streamlined, created, reviewed, designed, enabled. So I don't have very passive kind of sentences. I come in and I want to hit people in the eye, between the eyes, with the fact that I'm just proactive and I do lots of stuff. And then, if I can, you put down like numbers if you've increased or reduced the time of something or increased sales or whatever. So that's that part. So people can scan through this if they want. So there's scanners can go, oh, look, he did this. And then somebody could slow down. Oh, look, he worked for GSK. What did he do there? So they can scan it and then they can slow down if they want. And I've compacted it and managed to put quite a lot of information into 3 pages so far. And then at the end, I've got a specific piece that shows I'm more than just a techie. I'm here to maximize business service availability by doing all these things here. And if they want, they can actually take this and go, you know what, we may use some of this for our own systems. We'll copy this. Have we got all this stuff done? And either way, this lad knows all these things that need done. Let's get all this done. I hadn't thought about it. Okay, now the reason I called it a portfolio, because it was a portfolio. No other IT contractors brought portfolios. So there was my CV, page 2, maximizing business service availability part there. That's like a real high level. I'm a senior kind of guy. Like I'm coming in. This is your strategy. This is what you need to do. All these steps, broad, and then this kind of detail. Then I had some techie stuff. So I'll go through and show the techie for what it's worth. Right. So I've got a cron tab file. So these are automated jobs, but you don't need to understand this, but if you're the hiring manager, you could look at it and go, what is he on about? Oh, look, I can follow it. It's neat. That's the most important part. It's neat. So it looks things, well, I don't know what this stuff is, but it monitor the disk space usage. Perform backup. Okay, cool. Understand that. What's next? It's got a little corn shell script. All right, so a techie is now going to read this and go, okay, that's quite neat. I'd maybe do it different, maybe do it better, but it's neat. It's definitely neat. Okay, and then there's a log file. Oh, he creates a log file, date and time stamped for his log file. This guy's pretty anal, isn't he? He's neat, he's a safe pair of hands. What else did I put in here? I can't remember. So I create a Unix environment, do all sorts of stuff, and then I create some aliases for my working environment. So I've given them stuff that they could use themselves, whether they hire me or not, but I'm thinking that they're thinking, oh goodness, if this is just a sample of what he's done, I want him in my team to do the rest of it. All right. So the other thing is I've brought a portfolio. I present it across the table when I'm actually at the interview and go, oh, by the way, I don't know if you just got the CV or did you get the full portfolio. And I take it out of the folder and give it to them all, maybe 3 people. All right. And I might talk them through it and they can look at it and go, oh, yeah. And then sometimes if I've only got 1 copy, they'll huddle over it and have a look. Right, on page 13, you can see, I'm doing this, that, and the next thing. And I might actually then lean across and start pointing it out. And then we're all huddling around something and going through my work, which is great, isn't it? And then when I leave, I've left a piece of paper to sit at the table, still speaking to them, telling them that, oh, Andy Black is actually kind of a good guy. Maybe we should hire him. And also, if they walk up the corridor and want to speak to the hiring manager, and they say, well, who's your top 3 candidates? They go, right, there's this guy here and this guy here and then this other fella. Well, why are they the top 3? Potentially, they might get asked, but they want to be able to justify it. Well, they go, well, look, he's got his portfolio. Look at it, it's really good, and it's neat, and blah. So in the way, I'm giving them the paper to cover their butts. If they make the wrong decision, they can always go, well, you would have hired him, wouldn't you? Look at this portfolio, it's really good. And then the other thing is, like in the IT world, nobody brought portfolios. Nobody left sample work. Either they hadn't thought of it, or potentially, I think probably they hadn't thought of it. Potentially, you might be wondering, oh, no, why would I give my stuff away? Why would I give this information away? They might copy it. No, they're not going to copy it. They're going to get you to do it. And that's the guys you want anyway. They're the guys that are going to hire you. They're hiring you. They don't want to like just copy the stuff that you've done. They want you to implement it. All right, so I hope that's helped. So just think outside the box. Don't just bring a CV if that's what everyone else is doing. Bring a little bit of a portfolio. Show, don't tell that you're good at what you do. It's kind of like you can see the stories in my CV that I worked for all these places and I did all this stuff and I've got to this level. You can see progression. Obviously it's tricky when you haven't got as much on your CV, but there's other ways around that, and I'll go through that in another video. All right, hope that helped.